What's up, Degenerate Nation? Welcome to the Big Bets on Campus podcast presented by WynnBet. This is the college football week 7 betting recap and week 8 look ahead. I'm Stucky. With me as always is Colin Wilson. Fresh off another Auburn Jesus game, huh?
Well, listen, I'm going to echo Sam Pittman's exactly what he said in his presser after the Razorbacks just completely ran out of gas in the fourth quarter. He said, we're beat up. We're tired. We're not going to quit. We've got Pine Bluff and a bye, and we desperately need Pine Bluff and a bye. And I think it's that time of year where we got to be more conscious. Like when Arkansas runs the gauntlet of A&M, Ole Miss, Auburn, Georgia, like these teams are going to get beat up and they're just going to have these games where things snowball. But that goes with capping too. I mean, we're right here, week 8, baby. We're on to week 8. You and I, like this is the time of year where you and I, one of us gets sick. We have a cold, like we're trying to keep up, like shit. I mean, there's so many numbers and data, and we got injuries, and we got Mac shit about to kick up. Like we need to take our Pedialyte in the morning and get ready because, like Sam Pittman said, we're beat up, we're tired, we need a bye week. You and I, we don't get a bye week.
No breaks. My wife has bronchitis. I think I'm gonna get bronchitis. I don't know. Yeah, there was horrific officiating. I mean, I'll give credit to Bo Nix, but some of the worst calls I've ever seen all year, all in one half. A year after they stole a win from them, I thought Arkansas was going to get calls, not the.
I wasn't going to call. I know who the officiating crew was last year for that Arkansas for that backwards spike, but I didn't know if that's who was on the ground for the officials in yesterday's Arkansas Auburn game. But I'm going to say this right now: the SEC better do something. I mean, if you're going to fine $100,000 to these schools for rushing the field, what are you going to do for these zebras that are fucking up the game? What are you going to do? An imaginary pass interference call? Like we're just going to drop laundry and make shit up? Like, I mean, this is the officiating was so bad, and it wasn't even just the Arkansas game, right? I mean, I'm sure you want to rant about the number of flags for Arizona State. Like SEC officiating is getting to be on the Pac-12's level.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and complain about officials. I went yesterday 5-7, and then my round robin went to shits. Losing day, I think I deserved a losing day. Let's get in the best call, worst call before we get to the voicemails. Best call, worst call, bet, regret. My best call of the day, I think I only had like one or two, was Army under, obviously. At our bar, we don't have Big Ten Network. Well, I don't know why. It's the only channel we don't get. So I was just following it on my phone. I was streaming it for a little bit, and then I got like 2 touchdown notifications in a row. 2 touchdowns in that game quickly with a total of 37 or whatever it was. Scared me a little bit, but we got to the window. That was easy. And my worst call, Miss State. Thanks for showing up, losing by 40. I could also say Arizona State. Congrats to Colin winning the Stucky Colin Podcast Bowl. How about Duke? Lost 48-0. Kent State lost 64-31. I still can't figure out what happened with Tennessee. That game was so bizarre, but how do you only score 26 points against Ole Miss? And you want to rant? Here's my rant of the week. Joe Milton comes in at the end of the game. 1 play left. You're down 5. He comes in for an injured Hendon Hooker. He scrambles. There's no time on the clock, and he runs out of bounds. What in God's name was he doing? Throw the ball up in the air. Do something. Punt it. Do something. Maybe it hits a defender. Run out of bounds? Outrageous ending to that game.
Is this the craziest ending to any college football game ever?
I mean, I had no idea what was going on. There was no sound. I was like, is there lightning?
I saw you tweeting. I'm sitting here watching it. Like you and I are in the middle of Utah, Arizona State.
Yeah.
I got my best bet going on with Hawaii losing Day Hunter and giving up an ungodly amount of points on an ungodly amount of turnovers. And the only thing I can concentrate on is the audio on this Tennessee game. We got student sections getting kicked out, and then all the other fans filling in the student section. We got mustard bottles, golf balls. I saw everything. I could not even believe what was going on in the scene. Like, how, if you're going to fine SEC schools $100,000 for rushing the field, what are you going to do with this game? I don't blame Lane Kiffin for saying, listen, I'm not safe here. My team's not safe. I'm not safe. It was the wildest thing I've ever seen. I mean, Hugh Freeze in a hospital bed coaching at a game live that holds not. What does the NBA got? We talk with Matt Moore all the time about how the NBA is the most dramatic sport out of all. How can you top what happened last night at the Tennessee game?
This league, baby. Yeah, that was wild. I was like, what is going on? Like, without sound, you just see people. I thought they were like coming down to rush the field to like go after Lane. And then I see stuff on the ground. And then I see the refs talking to Lane. And I'm like, what? It was a wild game. But 26 points against Ole Miss? How's that possible? I was really disappointed. Tennessee really flipped my day. Flipped my night, I should say. And bet regret, I will go. Actually, overall, my sides, I went sides and totals on 7 and 7 if you include Friday. So, I dropped, I think, a unit on the weekend. Had a couple good weekends in a row. It's about time we got to get rolling here, though. Bet regret. Not following your, not taking Cincinnati. Just the reasoning there. They want style points. They're not taking their foot off the gas. They beat UCF 56-21. I wish I tailed along there. How about you, Bet? Best call, worst call, bet regret?
I mean, I had these written down yesterday. I don't even have to think about this. So, I mean, my best call, I swept Friday. I mean, I almost wanted to screenshot it and freeze it for like making it an NFT. I mean, we're talking Syracuse first half under, Syracuse cover, Cal cover. Friday was like the greatest thing ever, but you're right. Cincinnati team total over 50 burgers every week. All right. Let's just call it Brocktober, by the way, which is going to come into bet regret. Cincinnati 50 burgers every week for everybody. And then best call, I got to throw out the OU team total over. Caleb Williams is unbelievably electric. He can throw on the run. The one thing that he can do that not many quarterbacks in college football can do, he can throw on the run off of either foot. That is Patrick Mahomes-ish. So I'm not, I don't, and by the way, a sports book that will not be named left Caleb Williams up at 50-1 for the Heisman last night. Now it's a debate for Brett and I on the Sources pod, but that was crazy. Okay. So worst call, it's easy. How easy is it for me to say worst call? I bet on Duke against Virginia because Virginia's defense is god awful. Duke got blanked. I bet on Wyoming.
How do you not score against Virginia's defense?
Unbelievable. I bet on Wyoming, like to cover against Fresno State. Thought Fresno State would have a problem coming into Laramie. Thought Hainer was a little beat up. Blanked. Wyoming got blanked. But let's not forget that I bet New Mexico. Yes, I bet New Mexico plus 11.5 against Colorado State, a team that I love to fade because Adazio's on retirement. New Mexico only scored 7. They got beat by 30. Worst call. So bet regret. Can you believe
Adazio's rolling, by the way?
Adazio's rolling. But he's still going to end up 6-6. So bet regret is not even close. Like I thought about this yesterday. I was so pissed off at myself. We didn't even talk about it. We didn't bet Brocktober. Although I will say that the market signals were going crazy on Kansas State. I was like, I'm ignoring this. It's Brocktober. And then B, we have a podcast where I went on and said UAB against inferior conference opponents and a freshman walk-on quarterback with Southern Miss is easy money. And then I chicken shit out on 16.5 and they won what, 34-0? So bet regret is UAB by far.
UAB loves just beating up on the bottom feeders in conference.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get to the voicemails and hear you guys bitch and complain.
Oh my God, Stucky, you would have had the big one watching the Indiana punt. Of course, Indiana punts it 4th and 4 on Michigan State 39-yard line. Because God forbid on the opposite side of the field you go for it, and then somehow their special teams botches it. Oh, nobody there at the 5-yard line. They miss the ball, goes into the end zone for a touchback. Jesus Christ. I can't believe I bet this over in the game. Mark Stoops, you fucking mother. Call it time.
Yeah, when is this Michigan State voodoo going to end? It's just another game where what did they have? I'm glad they actually won for Indiana team win total under. They covered by the hook. They had 56 yards in the first half, 10 punts. I mean, and it was disgusting. Indiana had More yards. I mean, it just I don't know how they weren't up by more. And Michigan State gets a pick 6 in the first half. It's just unbelievable. And Michigan State moves to 7-0. They're top 10 team in the country. They don't look like it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, post-game win expectancy, one of the worst of the day was Michigan State winning with a 39% post-game win expectancy, 24% success rate on passing downs, well below national average for Sparty, 45% on standard downs, well below national average for Sparty. They were stuffed more than the national average. They had no explosive drives, 13 possessions, no explosive drives out of Michigan State. And you and I, and our podcast, what was the handicap on the podcast? Indiana has the defense to shut down this Jalen Naylor, Peyton Thorne, the Walker, all this stuff. And they did all that. But here we go. I mean, turnovers, field position, just, I don't know. And are you and I going to be forced into backing Bodog Jim? Are you and I going to be forced into that? I can't even believe we're in this spot.
Might be. Bodog Jim, baby. We'll talk about that game later this week. Let's move on.
Now, get 3 seconds left just to run another play to make your little pump and look a little not as bad. Well, go yourself, buddy. Some of us are trying to pay the bills on this Kentucky team total under, and I have kids to feed, and you're just calling your timeout because you don't want your ass kicking to look so bad. You pansy, dude. Go yourself. Georgia, complete domination.
Yeah, so Kentucky was one of my by the way, I think I called the exact final score of Kentucky.
I don't want to talk about this game.
And it was one of the most exciting moments for me this week. I had plus 23, right? But I know that almost most people that followed me didn't have 23. They probably had 22 and a half, 22. Everyone that I was with at the bar had like 21 and a half. So I was like, I wasn't gonna, like, first of all, I didn't want to push, but I was really rooting for everybody and myself. So we're sitting there in a bar in Lexington. And I mean, I tweeted out a video of this, and we go bonkers. By the way, Stoops calls a timeout. You play to cover the game, calls a timeout, and then on the last play of the game, they get in, and they lose by 17. And we went bonkers. Like, just you gotta love betting. The bar in Lexington and Kentucky fans are cheering on a last-second touchdown to lose by 17.
Listen, I can't talk about this game. I had to take a 3-hour break. If anybody didn't notice, Colin took a 3-hour break from social media because Colin had to get up and walk the dog. Colin did 120 push-ups. That after that 4:30 slot, I had to take a break.
What did you have in that game?
So our best bet on the bet on the BBOC live show and real
Georgia
life
first half, right?
And real life money was Georgia first half, and the refs did everything possible to keep that last drive going for Kentucky to get that score up. So 14-0, and then this last drive with like 1 minute left, and how many flags, fictitious bullshit flags, are we going to throw to make sure Kentucky gets something on the board? Right? I just, it's outrageous. The SEC officiating is outrageous. That score, I mean, I was hot about that. I was so hot about that first half and the refs helping Kentucky get that score. So, whatever. And then what happens? What happens when they come out for the second half? Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. I can't believe I bet Georgia in the first half, assisted by the refs, and then they go ape shit in the scoring when they come out for the third quarter. So I had to take a break. Thanks, BBN.
All we do is cover, baby. All right, moving on. But it doesn't matter. You play to cover the game. Calling a timeout with 6 seconds left just to push that in? Yes. Calling in from a wedding in Lexington, Kentucky, which is criminal on a day like today. But Uncle Mitch, every time Colin Wilson talks about Kentucky, can you play the clown noise in the background? I mean, Jesus Christ. How about Stoops calling timeout? Legend. Meanwhile, Arkansas getting blown the out like they will with our basketball team this year. Colin Wilson calling in again. Back-to-back weeks. I gotta roast your ass, dude. UGA minus 13. Blah, 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 blah. Arkansas gets blown out. Kentucky covers. Mark Stoops is one of the most unbelievable timeouts with 3 seconds left. But your first half bet couldn't have been more wrong.
What? What is this guy? What is this guy saying? What is he even saying? We missed the field goal. It should have been 17-0, and then you got a ref assist to get a score up. What is this guy even saying? Did you watch the game? Or you just loaded in a stupid ass Lexington bar with no audio and not paying attention to the flags? Get out of here.
It sounded like a shot at me.
Oh, this guy saying that it was a bad bet. It was not a bad bet. The first half was not a bad bet.
You've had fights with LSU, Texas in the past. I think your biggest enemies right now for this season, right in my backyard, the Kentucky. And that's going to continue through college basketball.
Don't bring basketball into this. Musselman will do circles around you guys. I don't want to hear this. Musselman's out there throwing breakfast burritos yesterday to the Arkansas student section. Whatever. It's not. You know what? Put us in a bowl. Put Arkansas and Kentucky in a bowl. I'd make the line probably 21. All right, on Arkansas.
Poverty baseball school. Moving on.
I don't care about your havoc metrics, about this, about that. You're just wrong. Week after week, you get on this podcast and you're wrong about Kentucky. Week after week after week, you're always wrong about Kentucky. It's an absolute joke. We cover the spread. Kentucky covers the spread. Figure it out.
Wow,
Go ahead and pause. Go ahead and pause after this. Pause. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look here. Kentucky's next game is against Mississippi State. They should be favored by 1.5. After that, Tennessee plays Kentucky. Kentucky should be favored by 2.5. After that, Kentucky plays Vanderbilt. Kentucky would be favored by 30. After that, Kentucky is going to host New Mexico State. Great job. New Mexico State coming to town. 40.5 point spread. And then to close it out, you're going to be 4.5 point favorites over Louisville. Kentucky should win out. Kentucky should win out.
And then beat Arkansas in a bowl. I wish they could play in the bowl. That would be fun.
Make it happen, Brett McMurphy. Put Arkansas and Kentucky in the Birmingham Bowl.
Two SEC teams in the Birmingham Bowl. Moving on. Go Cats.
Dumper than a football bat. This season I went 9-9 today, but why did I go 9-9 today? Because of the minor mother nation. My guy out in West Texas. Dude's back to him every year. Out in the West Texas town of El Paso. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. You suck, you loser, Skip Holt. You. Dude, Navy, Memphis.
Go ahead, pause.
I don't know are we going to hear from our minor nation guy? I don't know. I haven't listened to these voicemails yet. Maybe he comes in later. But yeah, UTEP covering machines.
Yeah, UTEP. If you look at the advanced numbers, like they did an amazing job here. They UTEP was very successful. They had 2+ first downs on 35% of their drives. They had an explosive play. They were able to limit Louisiana Tech. Oh, Louisiana Tech. You want to know why the Bulldogs did win that game? 0.6 points scored per trip past the 40-yard line. Louisiana Tech absolutely crumbled every time they had a drive get past the 40-yard line. It was pretty much a shit show by Skip Holtz on the road there. But hey, you and I got to talk about this. Like UTEP, UTSA, like maybe we should take a flight down to El Paso. I mean, that is one of the biggest games.
I think we can try to record the show from there. I've always wanted to go to El Paso. We can meet our friend and have a pizza party. I've never been. I've always wanted to go. I've never been to West Texas, so maybe we'll make it happen. More details to come there. Hopefully we hear from our friend later.
52, 21 minutes left. I got the over in no points the last 21 minutes. Jesus Christ. Not even a field goal. It's going to be a great weekend again. It's amazing the amount of real estate that Lane Kiffin has in Knoxville still after all these years. Not only was it a trashy scene, but honestly, the sad thing is the person who threw that golf ball might have the most accurate arm in Knoxville. Biggest bet regret, not taking Ole Miss when that got close to a pick. Come on now.
Throw.
I didn't see the golf ball.
You didn't see the golf ball. I mean, this Lane gets a golf ball, hits him right down on the ground, picks it up, shows it to the ref. That's why I'm saying he was like, listen, I am not safe here. My fans are not safe. My booster club is not safe. My cheerleaders are not safe. My players are not safe. He holds it up and then he brings it to the post-game interview and everybody on Twitter is saying, he's going to frame that on his wall in his office. But it really didn't look like a throw. It looked like somebody used more of a flop wedge, a 60-degree iron? Because that thing came down at an angle, like straight down. Somebody had a great 60-degree. That was a great shot by the whoever did that in. But
totally missed the golf ball.
guys, people quit throwing shit in the field. Come on.
Yeah, so dumb. Yeah, I was glad I got Tennessee +3 and it closed at a pick. Great CLV that doesn't pay the bills.
Just want to say, Sucky, man, you degenerate, Jersey Shore looking mother. Don't bet against Ole Miss, you mother. Really calling you from my wedding. I'm still seething from my friend telling me not to bet Purdue spread, Purdue money line. It was the wedding week. It was the wedding lock. I was told there were COVID issues. Iowa sucks. Go Rutgers.
David Bell, all I've got to say. Boy, I should have taken your guys' advice going 11.5 plus Purdue. Man, was I dumb. Boy, does this Iowa team stink. We look freaking terrible. Sucky Colin, been with you since the gin and juice, but holy fellas. Moneyline round robin. Washington, loser. Tennessee, loser. Mississippi State, loser. Eastern Michigan, loser. Indiana, loser. Wyoming, loser. UNLV, loser. Holy fellas, that's more impressive than going undefeated, honestly. Are you serious with this round robin bull? I'm sitting here at 10:30 thinking I got all my plays in, and I see Stuckey coming with all his round robin plays. All these losers with Air Force save the day. Holy loser. All there is loser. Oh, Collins round robin. Loser. My God. There's no way to put round robins into Action Network, so I have to go in individually, put all the parlays in, and they all lose. Holy what a Saturday, boys. Colin, what?
All right, so with round robins, if you can't afford to lose them all, do not bet them. And by the way, if you went in the app 2 weeks ago when I hit 6 of 7, I hit 6 of 7 and tweeted out some of the tickets that I cashed. The goal is to hit about one a year. That's it. And if you cannot afford to lose round robins, they're round robins. They're underdog money line. Like most weekends they're gonna lose. So I don't know what to tell you. It sounds like you're betting too much and you should probably stop.
Yeah, I mean, I think I want to be clear about everything. First off, yeah, they sucked. All 7 of the round robins didn't get home, and it was we're going to have to do better next week. But remember what the round robin is. There's always one, and sometimes there's been 2. And a couple of years ago, there were 3 weekends where at least 6 of the 7 have hit. And if you're playing this for any kind of money whatsoever, that exponentially turns into you get numbers to the left side of the comma. And my only advice is people that play the round robins, if you're $100 better, this by 2s and 3s should be for about 2 to 3 to, if you want, $5, because that's going to accumulate up to about a $200 round robin, about a $500 round robin. And that's only if a single unit for you is $100. So take it easy when you're betting 56 or 83 or however many bets it comes out to. Take it easy. This is supposed to be a small percentage. This is a money line underdog. Don't make this, about 50% of what your bankroll is on for the day. This should accumulate. This should be around less than 10% of your bankroll for the entire day of what you have bet in circulation. So just take it easy on the round robins. I know it was 0-7. I know it was bad. We're going to do better. We're going to hit one of these weekends, but just, don't go heavy on these round robins from a financial perspective.
Yeah. I mean, your expectation going in should be they're going to lose. That's how I approach it. And I try to hit one a year. That's it. That's my expectations on them. And then I'm betting $25 per. I do 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s. So it's like a $1,500 bet to win like 20K. It depends. Sometimes it's 25K. Sometimes it's 50. It depends on how many favorites and underdogs you're using. But if you look at that bet when you put it in, if you are not okay with all of them losing, don't do it. All right, moving on.
In the hell keeps getting into your brain for the San Diego State overs? Are you kidding me? It's halftime. These offenses can't move the ball worth. There is 0, and I mean 0% chance this thing hits the over. You're usually good. You usually know what you're doing.
Colin, I think it was going to be a San Diego State overcall. Like I said last week, like I said on Twitter, we listened to anything Colin says about college football, unless it involves San Diego State, overs. That's it. He has, I think there's a bug in his model that he's replacing the San Diego State offense with the Alabama offense, and it spits out numbers that are 20 points too high. Or Jeff Hecklinski, or is that his name? Hecklinski has some dirt on him and Colin that could ruin his career. So he has to pump him up in his offense. So, yeah, we don't listen to San Diego State. Do you want to say anything here?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, I got blocked by the wife again. Like the live total was 19 and a half, 6-6 getting close to overtime. I said, I got to hit this over. I've got to hit this live over. And Stucky's like, you're like, I got you and everybody I mentioned's like, don't do it. And then the wife's like, put your phone down. This is degenerate shit. You can't bet over 19 and a half. And what happened? It was a winner. Damn it. I wanted to hit that over so bad. San Diego State, let's move on. Hey, the over's always in play with the Aztecs. Love these guys.
I cannot wait. I'm going to die when you tell us. Who's San Diego State play this week? Air Force. Oh, God. You're going to bet San Diego State Air Force over.
Listen, you're going to give me 41. You're going to give me the key of 41. We're going to get up there.
Oh, man. Here we go. All right. Then we're going to come on that later in the week. Moving on.
At the analytics, but San Diego State and this offense, and you see the over, my dog's even pissed off. This is unbelievable.
So this game hasn't even ended yet, but holy, if we ever want to really get at some country like North Korea or Iran or whatever, to the sanctions or whatever, make them watch San Diego State against San Jose State on repeat. This is torture. These teams are awful. I can't believe there's a ranked sign next to San Diego State's name. Colin, you're a moron for ever taking it over with these group of goons. And also send this ref crew over there. This is the worst officiated game I've ever seen in my life, and I watch a lot of NFL. Gary Patterson.
Yeah, I thought that was one of the worst. I thought the game was fixed. I had no idea what was going on. They were making up calls, but then the second half, they were making up calls on the other side. Like a face mask, the guy on the offensive lineman to take away a 60-yard touchdown, phantom holdings. It was insane. I've never seen a worse officiated game. I was like, the only explanation is this game is fixed. But then I watched the second half and I was like, they're just as bad for the other team. I suffered through that entire thing. I had San Jose State plus 10. I don't know who steamed that game. And then I couldn't stop watching it. And shout out to Jason Taylor, who was the announcer on CBS Sports Network. As the game was going to overtime, he said, this is one of the ugliest things I've ever been a part of in my life. You got to love the candor there from an announcer, but it was disgusting. Then I couldn't stop watching. I was invested. I already cashed my ticket, although I was having nightmares of Tulane, Tulsa, pick 6. So I was like, all right, I got to watch the end. And San Diego State wins in overtime again. And they have a showdown with Air Force now, who won at Boise.
San Diego State passing downs, they averaged 1.8 yards per play, and they were in passing downs a lot. Explosive. 1.8 yards per play.
Oh man, and all so bad. All right. Oh, by the way, we forgot to talk about Iowa. The charade is up.
What's funny is they had 4 turnovers in the game, and it didn't equate to any Purdue points though. Like they didn't have any immediate drives to turn into points, so it was a legitimate beatdown. Like I had
O'Connell. I wanted Plummer to play. O'Connell was phenomenal. I should have played Purdue. I was afraid of turnovers. Jeff Brom, I give you credit. It was clearly the right decision. And he was playing to win, not to cover. He wasn't playing it safe. And he went out there. O'Connell finished 30 of 40 for 375 yards and 2 touchdowns. And David Bell absolutely owns Iowa City. 11 catches for 240 yards. Woo! And this is a guy who had, 24 catches and 4 touchdowns in the last 2 meetings against them. Absolutely dominant. It didn't help that Iowa didn't have their star corner, then lost another one. But
that's where it sticks out. That's where the numbers really stick out, though. I mean, you look at Purdue. They went 70% of their drives having 2+ first downs. That's almost double the national average. When you get into passing downs, Purdue averaged 8.8 yards per play. With a success rate in passing downs, it was 12% over national average. I would say the Iowa defense, the loss of Riley Moss was bigger than we could have handicapped, because Purdue got to do whatever they wanted on the offensive side of the ball, even with bad field position, average starting. So Iowa had starting field position of 37, and Purdue average starting field position was on the 22, and Purdue had like 60% of available yards, way above national average. I mean, the Iowa defense just crumbled, and it wasn't because of the turnovers.
All right, moving on.
Has no soul. If I was an alum of TCU, you know what I would do? I would urinate in a muffin. I would then bake the muffin. I would send it to Gary Patterson. I would say, eat this muffin filled with urine because you're a cowardly disgrace. No words for how much of a coward he is. Goodbye. I premature.
Barton used to be from Chicago, Notre Dame, Ohio State fan. His weekly rant was about Gary Patterson today. Yeah, I didn't get TCU home, and plus 14. I got some plus 14.5 live. Total yards in the game, TCU 529, Oklahoma 525. That was fun. So, yeah, at the end of the game, TCU just kind of gave up. I was hoping they would throw it, but Oklahoma scoring a touchdown up 14 with a minute to go kind of hurt me. But
I mean, there's a lot of takeaways for me from this game. First off, TCU the offensive numbers are pretty insane for Oklahoma. Half of their 12 possessions were explosive drives. They averaged 5 points per trip inside the 40-yard line. They were scoring machines, which was good to get that team total over. But at the same time, TCU was just running out of players to play on defense. So, I think the competition is going to step up here for OU to go up against. But at the same time, you can't deny like Oklahoma averaging 11.2 yards in passing plays, 10.3 yards per play in passing downs. They were fantastic. And I believe.
Look at TCU's passing number, though. Oklahoma has issues in that secondary.
Big time, which is why listen, I think Oklahoma, Georgia is still the national championship game, but I can't see Oklahoma winning the national championship with this defense at all. Interesting enough, Spencer Rattler, not a single passing attempt, had the white jump man tennis hat on all game, which I can't remember last time I've seen a quarterback just hang out in a hat instead of actually having his helmet on. But 4 touchdowns for Caleb Williams, 295 yards, 18 of 23 passing. I'll be interested to see how many drops out of those 5 that there were. But the OU is legit, and they're going to go to the college football playoff.
No, not after Iowa State beats them. All right, Duggan. Duggan finished 20 of 30 for 346 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, just shredded. Oklahoma, they got to find corners. I don't know why they can't. All right, moving on.
Really cashed my bet? This bet won't cash until these hillbillies will stop doing on the field. Come on, man. I'm from South Texas, bro. That's some class. Say his name, Billy Napier. Say his name, Stuckey and Collins.
Great performance by ULL, by the way. They finally woke up this season and dominated. It was just a dominant win over App State. I can't believe we didn't hear from our Minor Nation guy. Is that serious? You better call in. We'll tweet out it out.
Going bowling.
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't hear from him. All right, thanks for the voicemails. You guys weren't as cruel as I thought you were going to be. But I trust that you'll pick it up as the season goes on. And look, all right, let's close out the top 25. Texas A&M rolls at Missouri. I'm glad I stayed away there. Just that Missouri run defense, just Ole. You can do whatever you want there. NC State with an impressive win at BC, 33-7. Baylor, another big win, but up 38 on BYU. We talked about Utah beating Arizona State 28-0 in the second half. So you know who made necessary halftime adjustments. That was all Utah.
Well, there's a lot of penalties there too.
Yep, penalties were a major issue. Texas melts down in the fourth quarter. Oklahoma State wins 32-24. That game was Oklahoma State is just they're such a fraud. They remind me like the Steelers last year. They should have lost to Boise. They got the refs just decided Boise's not going to win.
Well,
and
biggest fraud of the day.
Oklahoma State, they were about to get blown out of the water. It's 17-3. Texas is going in for another touchdown.
Yeah.
And then there's a pick six. Flip the entire game. But go ahead.
Yeah, biggest fraud of the day. You're right. 17-3. Picks 85-yard pick six. So what was going to be 24-3 turned into 17-10, and then that was it for Texas. But when you look at post-game win expectancies, which is a probability, like if you played the game, like were you supposed to win the game? So obviously if it's a coin flip, if a team wins at the last second and it's a coin flip, you have a 51%. Whether if you're Oklahoma, you have near a 100% chance of winning. But Oklahoma State was the lowest post-game win expectancy of all winners yesterday. 23% post-game win expectancy. They had no business winning that game. Other bad teams, Ole Miss was 29% post-game win expectancy. Michigan State, 39%. I mean, it's just, listen, I mean, I'd take Texas again. I would take Texas again. That pick six, that 85-yard pick six really took it out of them.
By the way, I was just about to say LSU, what a win for Edo. Edo's out. Just got tweeted out.
Did it really?
LSU and Ed Orgeron have reached a separation agreement. He will not return in 2022, but expected to complete the season. What?
Does this have to?
This is weird.
I mean, not to, give credit to our buddy, friend of the podcast, Brody Miller, was tweeting out last night about what happened with the run game, about how they've diagrammed and come up with new schemes and new ideas for the run game. And, Ty Davis Price is out here running like he's in the, hunt for the Heisman. So I don't know how you have a win like that. And you've maybe it's not Ed's offensive scheme and he's not happy with what got called on the field because maybe things got taken away from him. They win the game and that's it. You're done. I don't know. I mean, I'm just speculating here, but this is crazy. Who wins a game like that as a double-digit underdog and then comes to an agreement for a buyout the next day? That's nuts.
Insane. All right, let's it's on to week 8. There's no sleep, there's no rest. We'll be waiting on openers and trying to find winners right after the NFL slate all throughout the week. All right, before we get out of here, let's go 3 and out. First down, we have Wednesday night football. Coastal Carolina, 3.5-point favorites. It looks like they're 6-0. They go to App State coming off that bad loss. This Coastal Carolina offense, I think arguably, when we're talking nationally, it's top 10 unit potentially. Coastal laying 3.5 at App. Anything there?
Yeah, the number I make is exactly on 3.5. The total I make 57.7, which is there's no total been released yet. So yeah, 58 really is the total I've got. 3.5 is spot on, but you know what? This is going to move after what App State did, with the 4 turnovers. They looked absolutely horrible. I don't even know how we handicap App State after a disaster of a Tuesday night Lafayette. 4 turnovers. They spotted ULL scoring drives from the 19, the 31, and the 39-yard line. Louisiana almost +3 overall net yards per play. And the issue really came down to standard downs for App State. 10 of 27 of their runs were stuffed. They went 0 for 11 in third downs. The defense did not log a single pressure on Lewis against Louisiana. So now we're going to transition that performance into Coastal. And Coastal's cruising. The only game they haven't been blown out of their opponent was a road trip to Buffalo. The Bulls beat Coastal at their own game, won the time of possession battle, 64% success rate in standard downs, and they rarely had a stuffed run. They tripled the national average in methodical drives. That's having drives of 10-plus plays. So to beat Coastal, you have to do what Buffalo did. Own clock, run all day, stay in standard down. So the question is, can App State do that? App State is 12th in standard down success rate. They're just 65th in line yards, 49th in offensive stuff rate. But App State has to own the trench on offense to win this game. And I mentioned all of 2020 that the way to beat Coastal is to expose their rush defense. Currently 94th in stuff rate. They're 70th in rushing success rate on defense. This game is projected, 3.5. It's going to move because it's going to be a boatload of Coastal money, and we'll just see how high it gets up. But App State has it in the numbers to stop this Coastal front, and then they do have the rushing attack to give them a challenge. But that game was god-awful, and I expect nothing but chance money this week on this number. So 3.5 is the bar. We'll see where it goes.
Check it down. We have Thursday night football as well. We have Tulane at SMU. And Tulane has been dreadful. SMU's 6-0, ranked 23rd. Florida Atlantic at Charlotte. Louisiana and your boy going to Ark State. The Arkansas State defense, I don't know if we can bet Arkansas State, but there might be value in the number. But the Arkansas State defense is one of the ugliest things I've seen all season. I don't know what is going on there, but there is no tackling. Just you can do whatever you want against that offense. Excuse me. You can do whatever you want against that defense. And then finally at 11 Eastern on Thursday, San Jose State. You want to stay up till 3 a.m. again watching the San Jose State offense? You have a chance. They're at UNLV. Anything on Thursday night stick out for you?
Yeah, let's start off with Tulane and SMU. This is a number I projected, minus 15.5 in SMU. This is the number one passing success rate unit in SMU going up against a Tulane team that is bottom 15 in the nation in defending the pass. Serious issues in passing down success rate on defensively for Tulane. And let's not forget that these two teams are ranked top 20 in tempo. So I think the total is going to be somewhere around 57 to 60. It should be probably higher, considering SMU is going to be able to do whatever they want, and the tempos are going to be really high in this game. As far as Florida Atlantic and Charlotte, I see Charlotte +6 at home, but they just have some awful defensive numbers as far as defending the explosive play. Charlotte is bottom 10 in defending rush explosiveness and pass explosiveness. And that is not a good thing against a Florida Atlantic team that is top 25 in rush explosiveness and top 30 in rushing success rate. They are going to own in line yards. Charlotte's 118th in defensive line yards, and Florida Atlantic runs the ball 54% of the time. So this is a game where I would look to get Florida Atlantic maybe -6, but definitely, Florida Atlantic's going to be able to own clock, own the ground, and they have some pretty good defensive metrics as far as coverage goes, as far as defending the pass, and they are 10th in the nation in defending big play percentage. So Florida Atlantic would be the look there for me. Louisiana, coming off of a big game. I'm not saying his name. I'm not saying your name. I'm not betting on you. I'm not saying your name.
Say my name. Insert that Breaking Bad clip.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, listen, Utah hasn't won the Pac-12 South yet, but it was good to win the Breaking Bad bet. At least we think so. Like Utah would have to have a complete crumble here to lose that. But yeah, so the projection here is going to be Louisiana -18 on the road against Arkansas State. And the question is can you do it? Well, if you look at Arkansas State's defensive numbers, they don't have a single stat category that's within top 110. It's really bad. Their pass rush is kind of middling in FBS, but if Louisiana, I'm not going to say the head coach's name. If he wants to put up a 50 burger, he's going to be able to do it. Arkansas State's also
he's going to run tempo at the end of the game.
Probably so. I mean, Arkansas State is 11th in tempo. So, but at the same time, they're outside the top 100 in finishing drives on offense. So I don't know if they're going to get points on the board, but they're going to run snaps as fast as possible. So I think over is really the only way you can look here. Louisiana gets up to 21. That'd probably be the stop at the time you'd want to stop buying on the Cajuns. San Jose State and UNLV.
Stay tuned for the write-up on that one. All right, let's.
Well, Doug Brumfield, right? Let's just say this.
Yeah.
You got to wait to see if Doug Brumfield's coming back. Great. By the way, this UNLV Rebel roller, this freaking slot that they have on the field is like the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. But if Doug Brumfield is back, that is huge. San Jose State has had, a little bit of issues in defending the rush, especially when it comes to from a stuff rate perspective. So if Brumfield is in at quarterback, it makes this handicap different. I line it about UNLV +7, but with Brumfield, I obviously would be playing UNLV with that Rebel roller.
Before we get out of here, third down, one spot or one angle that you're looking at for next weekend, simple for me. Might be my biggest play of the year, depending on the line. Iowa State, Brocktober, at home against this fraudulent, undefeated Oklahoma State team. Hammertown. Anything for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think if there's anything that we can look at, it's going to take till Monday or Tuesday to get it out. But the Cincinnati team total over, if it's not 50 against Navy, then you can just count me in. Navy's outside the top 100 in finishing drives. They're 125th in pass coverage. They're they're outside the top 100 in havoc, and they don't stuff the ball at the line of scrimmage. If Cincinnati wants a 50 burger on Navy, listen, I'm not going to talk about the other side of the ball, but if Cincy wants a 50 burger, they're going to get it against this Navy defense.
Oh man, I'm gonna have a decision to make. My auto service academy catching over 2 touchdowns, which hit again, by the way, against Wisconsin this weekend.
Nice job.
I don't know what I'm gonna do there because I know that. Oh man. All right. Well, we'll talk about that later in the week. All right. Thank you for listening, Colin. Thanks for joining me as always. Time for us to go get to work, monitor these openers, and try to find some winners for you guys. We'll be back later in the week. As always, pod will be released overnight Thursday. Make sure you check out the Group of 5 guys. They're killing it as well on their episode later in this week. And Colin and McMurphy, we're curious to see where they will have Oklahoma State this week and San Diego State. So make sure you tune into them early in the week as well. Time for us to go get to work. Catch y'all later. Cheers.
Peace out.